This is a very important video, so important that it took us a lot longer to prepare than we thought. You'll see why later. This was meant to come out in June. See if you can spot the outdated jokes. Let me know in the comments. But now I'm just going to have to really haphazardly segue into the video. I'm really sorry about this, but if we went back a decade and you told me in 10 years span you'd open up a kebab van, I'd say you were tripping. And to make things even trippier, if you were to say in 10 years environmental organisation Southeast Forest Rescue would attempt to sue New South Wales Forestry Corporation for illegal logging, only to be denied standing by the Land and Environment Court, only then to be given that standing on appeal, altering over 20 years of case law, setting a precedent that means environmental groups can now take New South Wales Forestry Corp to court for logging, I'd say you need to get off the mushrooms, man. You must be tripping. Now that we are going back to logging again, let me borrow a little technique that I learned from comedic master John Oliver to keep you engaged. Look at this little creature. It's a southern greater glider. They should call it the southern cuter glider, cause that's bloody adorable. Don't you just want to gobble that up? Not in a, oh my god, how much did I drink last night and why am I wearing a ski mask and a mankini? I'm gonna have to gobble at least 3 full English breakfasts to get over this hangover sort of way. But in a goddamn, that glider is fucking cute! That is the creature that Southeast Forest Rescue are trying to save in their case against New South Wales Forestry Corp, who have a history of killing these creatures. I don't know why people need to waste time laughing. You just have to go to a state forest in New South Wales and you can see literal ogres killing these creatures. Just pull up one of those camping chairs that all the fat shits insist on bringing to beaches, sit there and watch. I'm promising you it's more immersive than this shit. I've done plenty of videos on New South Wales Forestry Corp before. In fact, I've put them on a playlist. Go watch them after this because I need the ad rev. Stories about logging don't generally rake in big bucks. Unless... KFC! Subway! I mean KFC! Yeah, there you go. That usually helps in putting a KFC ad. Thank you very much, algorithm. But look, here it comes now. Try the new Greater Glider Breakfast Burger. 9 out of 10 loggers legitimately think it's a glider and eat it anyway because... Anyway, New South Wales Forestry Corp is New South Wales' state-owned forestry corp, as the name would suggest, you fucking idiot. The issue is generally... you would want a state-owned corporation to provide value to the taxpayer, yet Forestry Corp is unprofitable and only kept afloat to keep jobs for 600 people that it employs. 600 jobs! Come on! The government already has a place where we give pity jobs to people who serve no societal purpose. It's called the ABC. Forestry Corp is a little like Israel. It's a country currently deliberately bombing areas to wipe out civilians, then denying that they're targeting civilians because they think it will secure their future existence. Forestry Corp has a history of deliberately logging areas that they know are home to endangered animals because they think wiping out these animals will protect their 600 jobs. So there you go, Zoomers. There's a way you can feel indignant about this. The greater gliders are like Palestinians. That's actually a perfect metaphor because, editor, for that, I want you to show a gif of when Hamas... So anyway, that's my job reallocation program. Just put all the loggers on the ABC. Ex-Forestry Corp employees would make better content than the current people that are at the ABC, don't you think? All they do is make comedies about identity-based grievances or comedies made by bureaucrats for bureaucrats. But unfortunately, as usual, the government won't heed my advice, and so Forestry Corp loggers continue to log the habitat of the greater gliders, and the only funny show the ABC makes anymore is Four Corners. I mean, look at this shit. Keyfluencers. And here's the joke. Their tagline is, the home of Australian investigative journalism. Gold. But listen to this, Four Corners. You should get some comedy tips from this, yeah? Before New South Wales Forestry Corp are meant to log, they're meant to do a survey of an area to see if they can find any greater gliders. For a while, Forestry Corp just couldn't find any gliders in their survey. And you know why? Because they were doing the surveys in the daytime. Gliders are nocturnal. So the EPA said, Forestry Corp, you numbskulls, you're supposed to do these surveys in the nighttime. The nighttime! But I sleep in the nighttime, boss. You chowderheads, if you mess up one more time like this, I'll make you sleep forever, capiche? Oh boy, you're gonna give me my long-term service leave. Forestry Corp then began to do the surveys at night, and since February they have seen 261 gliders, but just sighting a glider isn't enough to stop forestry. No, forestry has to identify the little hollows in the trees that the gliders live in, and to do that they have to sight the gliders going in or out of these holes. Just like you can't accuse me of being gay just because you've seen me at Kensington Bathhouse. If you want to accuse me of being gay, you have to cite me going in and out of holes. And of course, these gliders don't live in the hollows of the trees that Forestry Corp wants to log. No, of course not. And I don't want to log any holes either, so stop fucking asking! It also turns out that Forestry Corp was doing these surveys well after dark, long after the gliders would have left their hollows to go foraging. And so groups like Southeast Forest Rescue could find 10 den trees for every one that Forestry Corp could find. But how insane is this? Southeast Forestry Rescue's numbers that were based on, not completely cheating. Those numbers didn't matter at all, as they couldn't bring them to court because the law was written in such a way that barred legal challenges from parties that didn't have a special interest in the subject matter. It was essentially a way of making environmental groups completely ineffective, and it was very successful. Until very recently. What just happened is huge. Southeast Forest Rescue have recently had a big legal victory in that they've been granted standing by the Supreme Court of New South Wales Court of Appeal in a decision which overturns 20 years of case law, meaning that finally environmental groups can take loggers like Forestry Corp to court. They couldn't do that before. Now it's possible to challenge corporations doing massive damage to the environment. As such, I'm setting up a fund, which won't just be to fund legal action against Forestry Corp either. It will be for any lawyer that wants to act pro bono on an environmental cause. There's a ton of them. They all want to alleviate their guilt for being a lawyer for James Hardy for 20 years. They all want their little Atticus Finch moment of morality. I know that a lot of them like the idea of saving a forest or two. But the only problem is, if they do that, they usually end up out of pocket, stuck with a bunch of court costs and admin costs. This fund will cover those costs, the out-of-pocket stuff. And now there's this new precedent which means that we can probably chalk up really big environmental wins, mostly because we can actually take these things to court now. So this fund won't just be for my lawyers. The hippies at XD Law secured this recent victory for Southeast Forest Rescue in the Court of Appeal, which, again, I cannot stress how huge this win is. What they have done should be in history books, or at the very least those Sydney Uni law texts that law students read and immediately forget. But the point is, this fund will be open to everyone, including evil witches like Sue Chrysanthou, which if she wants to do something noble for once in her life would represent a client that's trying to save endangered species instead of call them tree rats, start wiping them out and then be butthurt that someone calls him out on it. I'm not holding my breath though, because that would require a conscience. But to everyone else, I really think that you should put some money behind this. People are always asking, what can I do? This is what you can do. I really think this is probably the most cost-effective way to achieve huge results. Not just now, but in the future, for the most important issues there are, which is land and water conservation. Links and more info below. See you soon with hopefully a big figure to boast about.